God's grace to me is a second chance.
Grace, I would say, is something that you're not entitled to.
Божья благодать – это подарок, скорее всего, который мы не заслуживаем просто так, никакими нашими хорошими делами. Это подарок Господа.
I would describe God's grace as His love and compassion completely unmerited.
Some people have got it, some people haven't. And at the moment, I don't think I've got it.
God's grace is beautiful. It's His outpouring of love and mercy in our lives.
Grace is the unreasonable love of God. That is without limit and without condition.
Grace is a free gift. It's all I need.
There are many ways in which the Salvation Army expresses its purpose. They are all centred on God's purposes. And the Army's international mission statement gives a sense of unity in purpose. It clarifies that the Army is an expression of the one universal church. It speaks of a ministry of love, a mission to preach the gospel of Christ, and a readiness to meet human need, whatever the situation. The Army works tirelessly, day by day, in a multiplicity of countries across the globe. But why? What is the purpose of it all? What lies behind all this action, commitment and service?
The Army's Handbook of Doctrine speaks of one overriding theme in the Bible: the saving grace of God shown in Christ. So the answer to our question is grace, God's grace. Grace is the message we're meant to hear, to receive, to enjoy, to preach and to show through our daily living. Nothing in the world or in any other religion compares with God's grace. There is nothing like it in its all-embracing loving kindness. It's described as the undeserved favour of God and shows its fullness in Jesus Christ. At the beginning of his Gospel, John tells us that Jesus was full of grace. The rest of his Gospel shows why.
Grace speaks of God's unconditional love. He knows we're weak and constantly fail, so he offers his grace. It is grace that forgives us, that takes away our sin and gives strength for living the good life. It is grace that welcomes us back when we run away from him. It is no wonder that the converted slave trader John Newton wrote of amazing grace. He knew he needed it. Finding the humility to accept God's grace doesn't always come easily. But when we do so, we discover that it is transforming grace. It changes lives completely, from the uttermost to the uttermost, is how many Christians describe the change.
John Newton literally wrote hundreds of hymns after God's grace had transformed him. Near the end of his life, he testified, "I am not what I ought to be. I am not what I want to be. I am not what I hope to be in another world, but I am not what I once used to be. And by the grace of God, I am what I am." God's transforming grace is for everyone. The Army is here to let everyone know.